Peace, 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 love and light, family. Just give me 1 second. Let me make sure that my audio and everything is on point right here. So let me just check that out. Just give me 1 second, please. I want to make sure my audio is on point. So you may get a little feedback. So forgive me for that, please. This is just a testing it. Alrighty. Give me 1 second. Okay, beautiful. So everything is good. Everything is good. Alrighty. All right, family. So hope everybody's having a good day. I know it's a little bit early, and I might just be let me see. I want to make sure I have that chat so I could vibe with you guys. Okay, give me 1 second, please. Give me 1 second. Be patient. Be patient. Okay. All right. So here we go. Peace and love. Hope everybody's having a beautiful day. This is Chief Kalinago with another video. I'm here at the house, and I just wanted to have a heart-to-heart talk with you guys. I always tend to look at things from a common sense point of view. And what I'm going to say in this video, again, I always tell folks, do your own research. I'm not here to disguise myself or pose as anybody's leader. I am not anybody's leader. Peace, 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 be the hell. I am not anybody's leader, all right? However, I see things from a different perspective. Was that Kundalino, Peace Family Music Group, big up, all right? So I tend to see things from a different perspective, because I choose not to be a follower of any man or anybody. Any information that I research, like I always tell you guys, I always do what's called some in search. So that's what I do first. But I want to have an honest, open discussion with you guys. And hopefully after this video today, you would spend less of your time in what's called that conscious community, because that conscious community has become the new religion. And I don't think it's a wise idea for you, my brothers and sisters, to start waking up and walking away from religion and walking away from, the oppressors' ideologies and their systems, and falling back into another trap called consciousness or the conscious community. All right. I did a video in detail why I don't consider myself conscious. Because for one, and I'm just going to speak on that very briefly. For one, the word conscious in itself, what does it mean? Well, if you look up the meaning of conscious, it says to be aware, to know. Okay? Now, if you break up the word conscious, is two words in one. All right? So you have con, C-O-N, and you have shus or shias. Now, if you look at this word right here, conscious, if you separate the word and you just look up the meaning of con, you would see what it means. It means to deceive, okay? Basically to be unrighteous, all right? And if you look at the word shias in the dictionary, it has its own meaning, and it means the same thing, to be aware or to know. So my question is this: why add con to the word shias and tell you it means to be aware or to know? You see, I tell folks, I always deal with the energy. Some people say it don't matter, but to me it does matter. So I never consider myself to be conscious. I would rather say that I am aware. I know. So with that being said, I'm going to move on. And that's one of the main reasons why I left, or I don't pay attention to the so-called conscious community, because I believe that energy that is within that conscious community is deceitful, is deceiving. And it's another form of religion to destroy and mislead our people. So yes, it was a stepping stone where I got some good knowledge. However, I couldn't get caught up in all the battles and the debates and all the endless, just basically talking with no solutions. I had to elevate from that. Okay, so I just wanted to, make that clear. All right. Now, let's talk about some common sense things. Let's talk about the whole creation story. That's what I want to talk about today. All right. Peace, Olivia. Peace, Chuck. What's up, fam? Lloyd, be like. Peace, family. Lloyd Bike. I think that's what it is. All right. Now, let's talk about the whole creation story. And we're going to go into the whole concept or idea that everybody came from a land mass called Africa. I'm going to debunk all that stuff because, again, it's just basic common sense. All right. Anybody with a little bit of thinking would know they could debate that, debunk that, all right, and totally not, in fact, just blow it out the water, period. All right. So here's my opinion. And again, this is just my opinion, the way I kind of let it make sense to me. All right. So think about it. Now, if we want to talk about Adam and Eve, I know we have gone past that whole concept of Adam and Eve. For the most part, everybody who's watching already know that may be some BS, all right? Because it's not a literal story. But let's just look at it in terms of a metaphysical standpoint. So Adam basically, represents the first generic man, and Eve represents the first generic woman. It doesn't mean one man and one woman per se, but they're talking about in its generic idea or concept, all right? So let's just say Adam and Eve, right? So let's say Adam and Eve, they were put in what's called Africa. Okay, now, let's try to see if that could make some sense. Let's just say that the first Adam and Eve, like everybody keeps saying, we were first, we were first. All right, you know what? We were first. The first man and woman on this planet was melanated. Let's go with that, right? They were put in Africa. That's what the story was told, because they say that everybody came from Africa. So let's just go with that for a second. Now, my question to you is this. If the first man and woman was melanated or were melanated, which I'm not disputing that may be true. My question is, where did everybody else come from? That's the question I want to ask you today. Where did everybody else come from? Because if it was just one man and one woman, that means when they had children, the children slept with either the mother or the father or their brothers and sisters to populate the world. You see, now, again, I'm just looking at this not from an emotional standpoint, but from a common sense, a logical standpoint. Now, you can't have it both ways. It's either you believe in incest or you don't. Now, if you believe in incest, then that story for you might make sense. That the first man and woman was melanated, and yes, they had children, and the children slept, the boys slept with their mothers, and the daughter slept with the father, or the brothers and sisters slept together to replenish the earth. Now, if you're going to go with that story, and you believe in a creator that believe in incest, then incest may not be such a bad thing, would it? No, I'm not saying that it's good or bad. I'm just saying based on the story that we were told, that the whole concept of everybody came from one man and one woman, that literally families, I'm talking about immediate families, have to be in bed with each other to replenish the earth. So therefore, why today are we getting mad that men want to sleep with their daughters? Why today do we look at it as sick? Is it such a bad thing when that's what y'all really believe in? So how is it back then it was okay because there was an intended purpose to replenish the earth? It was okay. It was moral. But in this day and age, why is it so immoral? So to me, that just doesn't make sense at all, unless the creator that you believe in, whether it may be a black god or a black energy, whatever you want to call it, I'm going to give you that. Whatever you want to call it. Maybe that creator or energy believe in incest. I don't know. I'm just saying, let's be logical about it, right? Now, so personally, I don't believe that was the situation. That whole thing about, everybody was born in just one particular area and then they had to spread out throughout the rest of the world. I don't believe in that theory. You see, One of the problems that, and one of the reasons, one of the main reasons why I walked away from the conscious community is because they spend too much time reading books. They spend too much time, you know, taking information that they read and just spewing it, arguing over it without using common sense. Because at the end of the day, that information came from somebody. It is somebody's perspective. So I don't care how far back you go. My question is, who gave them that information? Who gave them that information? Aren't we supposedly in the year 2016? That means the world, based on their calendar, the world is 2016 years old. But however, our ancestors and their artifacts, again, that's what they say, that's been around for millions and billions of years. As a matter of fact, the universe is supposedly over 14 billion years old. And I'm talking about the construction of the universe. And let's not even talk about before the physical construct of the universe. It was mental. So literally, the universe has no beginning and no end when we speak of the mental realm. But let's talk about the manifestation of the universe. It is said that it's at least 14 billion years old, and that the earth that we live in is about 4.5 billion years old. So how could we have a calendar that's 2016? So literally, we have no idea what year we are in. So when the conscious community and these people, they go and they start digging up stuff, and it says, well, you know, in 4000 BC and 5000 BC, this happened. How do you know? Were you there? Who told you? And the person who gave you the information, how accurate is that information? How accurate is that information? You know, and all the talk about, well, you know, the first man was a homo sapien and a homo this. I'm not a homo nothing. How about homophobic? Huh? Why did the first man have to be a homo? Who told you all that? And y'all over here arguing in the conscious community about all this BS. But yet still today, if a man say he's a homo, y'all get mad. Oh, it's not immoral to be homo, but yes, still everybody was a homo. Well, sapien, but still homo, right? Man, I'm not homo nothing. I was never homo anything. Who told me that? I don't believe that. That is what they told us. You see, I am a free thinking man. I am a free thinking man. When I came here by my damn self. So it's up to me to really dig and go within, to ask my ancestors and the ones who came before me, who am I truly? I'm not gonna determine or make a judgment on who I am, okay? And leave it up to people doing research. No, I want to do the research myself. My question to the conscious community is this: what tools do you have in place? Do you have the telescopes to look into the universe? Do you have the labs, that your own personal labs, to do DNA research? How do you know? How do you know? You can't really tell me that what you are saying is facts because you have no grounds to prove it. You don't have the economic structure to prove what you are saying, to back up the research, because at the end of the day, you are going based on what somebody else said. But I am looking at nature. I am looking at what nature gave me. I don't need any tools to see what nature is saying. All I know is this: I came here, and there were people who came before me, and there were people who came before them, and there were people who came before them. And it seems like that is the perpetual cycle of evolution. It went back from somebody who came from somebody who came from somebody. And whatever that original form was, we don't know. We don't know. We call it energy. What do energy look like? What does it look like? So at the end of the day, family, all I'm just asking you is to think for yourself. Don't get caught up in this whole conscious community thing and lost the purpose of your true manifestation here. Don't lose yourself in the conscious community, because you will get lost. That is the new religion. It literally is the new religion, because I believe, okay, and well, again, I'm just saying, I don't want to, judge nobody, but that's just my personal opinion. I believe a lot of the people in the conscious community, they are agents. They are agents, okay, who were put in the mix of our people, the indigenous people, to create confusion. Because where there's confusion, there's chaos, and there will never be unity. These people have no solutions. They have no solutions whatsoever. It's always arguments. It's always about, they have the same concepts and ideologies of the invaders, of the oppressors. It's always somebody versus somebody. Always somebody versus somebody. Oh, I know better than you. I could shut you down. I'm going to shut you down. You feel what I'm saying? Why does it always have to be a battle? Why do you always have to try to prove you know more than your brother, opposed to say, you know what, I want to build with my brother or my sister? Why does it always have to be a battle? You know why? Because that is the concept and the ideas of the invaders. It's always against, and it's never with, and it's never for. Never. All of them. All of them. They always want to shut somebody down. Why is that? But yet still, you guys are supposed to be uplifting the community. You're supposed to be enlightening the people. How can you enlighten people when there is chaos? To me, it doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense. So let's go back to the whole Homo sapien thing and whatever that is. Because like I said, I ain't no homo nothing. All right? That's just, again, my personal belief. And I'm going to debunk that whole story about everybody came from Africa. And I'm going to do it right now in this video. All right. So we have an entire world, right? An entire world, an entire earth. One man and one woman was put in one location to replenish the earth. Now, let's look at the word replenish here for a second. Replenish. I'm going to paraphrase the meaning of replenish, because I'm not going to look it up. But replenish basically means to do over. So my question remains, do over what? Or do over from whom? Any word that has re in front of the word, or any word that has the prefix re in front of it, it basically means that something was there before. Something had already been done. If I say, do me a favor, go reverse my car, it means that my car had already driven forward. If I tell you, please do me a favor and rewrite my book, it means that my book was already written. So if the Creator said, replenish the earth, that means something or someone had came before. My question is, what? And when? And how? Nobody knows. We are all speculating. Everybody talking about, well, we came from Anunnakis and we came from the Sirius star system. Okay, you know what? I'm not going to dispute that. I'm not going to dispute that, because I don't know. That's all I could say. I have to be honest with myself and say I don't know. Now, the Dogon said that they came from the star system. Maybe that's what they thought. But who's to say they were right? Huh? Who solidified these things? Who give us the substantial proof that that's really what it is? That is my question. So to me, at the end of the day, all these debates is pointless. All this whole conscious community BS is pointless. My question is, what are we doing today? What are we doing today, and document what we are doing so that our children could have some substantial and factual evidence of our evolution? When they look back, are they going to look back at just arguments and debates without any solutions? That is my question to you. So let us talk about the concept of everybody came from Africa, right? Now, Africa is a hot climate place based on what we know. Okay, so here we are coming into a new world. that we created or the creator created, right? And then the creator decided, or we decided that, you know, we're going to start in Africa and then we're going to spread throughout the world. I'm going to ask you a logical question, family. What sense would that make? What sense would that make? Wouldn't it make more sense to just create the world and put people in every part of the world, opposed to letting them start in one place and then trying to let them figure out how to get to all these different places with all the hot climates, with all the freezing cold and snow and frost bites? You know what? Seeing that I am the creator, I think I'm just going to do something that make a little more sense, because I am the creator and I know it all. So I'm just going to do something that a creator would know for sure. You know what? Instead of just putting them in one place called Africa and have them try to figure out their way into all these different parts of the world, a big world that I created, you know what? Let me do something that make a whole lot more sense and just put them into every part of the world, strategically into every corner of the world. I think that might make much. You know what? Doesn't that make sense? Yes, it does. That would make more sense. So my theory is this: when we decide to manifest here in the physical form, we were strategically, sorry, I don't need to get tongue-tied, I'm getting a little excited here, but strategically, we were placed into every part of the earth. That's why when you go, the further you go, you would see that all the indigenous people in every part of the world is heavily melanated, almost every part in the world, because I'm going somewhere with this. Okay, now here we go. They told us that it was one big world, right? And all of a sudden it got separated into 7 continents, and then all of a sudden it got separated into all these different little countries. Who told you that? Who told you that? The invaders told you that. Okay, because those continents and those separations, they are nothing but man-made boundaries, man-made lines. Okay, when they came with what's called the doctrine of discovery, when they discovered us, well, supposedly they discovered our lands. How could you discover something that was already there? But it was a discovery to them because they were not aware of us. So yes, they discovered us based on their own discovery, not in the sense that we weren't there. We were already there. So based on the concept of the doctrine of discovery, and I want you to go look that up, the doctrine of discovery, they created boundaries. So now it started off with what you call continents. And then they started getting more greedy. They wanted more control. So now they started with individual countries. So that is just my opinion, because those lines are just imaginary lines. How do you know for sure that this is the end of that continent and this is the beginning of that continent? Who told you that? The invaders told you that. They did. So everything that our people are teaching came from the invaders. And they're over here arguing about it. So literally, to me, there's no continents. There's no countries. We are just earthlings. Okay? And you are indigenous to every part of the world. Oh, they were the ones who took our world, or everybody's world, all right, and created what you call jurisdictions. So I don't believe in that story about man and woman was placed in one particular area and then they have to reprocreate and replenish the earth and they move into various parts of the world. No, that's a fallacy to me. I don't believe that. I believe that everybody was already in their respective areas in the world, in different tribes, in different groups. Yes, melanated, some less melanated. However, we all came here at one particular time. I believe that is exactly how this thing happened. And again, this is just my opinion based on common sense, because everything that you were telling me, it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So let's go back. Let's expound on the whole Africa thing now. All right. So if Africa is one continent, Africa, the people are saying, well, we had to have came from Africa because melanated people, came from a hot climate. If you go to Arizona, Arizona have climates. Arizona have climates that's a whole lot hotter than Africa. So what are you telling me? Las Vegas, Nevada have temperatures or that's a whole lot hotter than a lot of places in Africa. So what are you telling me? What are you telling me, man? People, again, through skin tones, I believe, were placed in different parts of the earth. The heavy melanated people, I believe, were placed in Africa. The what's called the red man was placed on the American continent. All right. And the yellow was placed in Asia. I believe, when we talk about continent wise, I believe that's exactly how it was, because the red man, okay, is from the American continent. The copper colored man is from the American continent. And even the Africans know that. Even they themselves know that. So how come you don't know? So my thing is this, family. Stop just listening to these people. Do your own research, man. And when I say do your research, apart from reading the books, apart from looking at the videos, go within, do some research, ask the ancestors to guide you. Because these people, they are continuously leading our people down a spiral. I don't even know what to call it. A state of confusion. It just doesn't make sense. And unless you have all the equipment in place to do the research and go as far back as you can, to me, everything is speculation. Everything is merely speculation. So again, let us focus on today. Let us focus on what we have to do to move forward. Because at the ending of the day, the further back you go, our history is distorted. It has been distorted. So how do we know for a fact that what they are telling you is facts? I don't have no master teacher. Everybody talking about, well, oh, the master teacher says. The master teacher of whom? Huh? Anybody who follows master teachers, they're slaves. I don't have a master teacher. I am my own teacher, man. Nature is my own teacher. I don't see animals going talking about, well, you know what? Let me go look at this master lion teaches. No, they just live their lives. That's all they do. They live their lives on a day-to-day basis and do what they got to do to protect their environment, to protect their surrounding, their children, and their communities. Huh? The same thing with the animals. Look at the animals. So basically, you were telling me that the Creator put people in one spot, and then they didn't just have to replenish the earth, but they had to take all their animals with them and bring them wherever else they have to go. Does that even make sense? It doesn't make sense. It's like you believing the story of Noah and the ark. You might as well believe this shit, where the entire world was destroyed and only one man, his wife, his 3 sons, and their 3 wives survived. I mean, if you're gonna dispute that story, why are you gonna believe the rest of the nonsense that everybody's from Africa or everybody came from Africa? That doesn't make sense. And here's another thing I'm gonna tell you that you might think, well, you know what, I'm bugging. But you know what, it's okay, let me bug out. Because it just shows that I am not following any man. I am thinking for myself. I'm a free thinker. All right, think about it for a second. We were told that 94% of the universe is made up of dark matter. No, actually 96. We were told that 96% of the universe is made up of dark matter, right? So some people say melanin, whatever you want to call it. Let me ask you a question, a real logical question. If 96% of the universe is made up of dark matter, what is the opposite of dark? The opposite of dark is light. So therefore, if 96% of the universe is made up of dark matter, then that means 4% of the universe is made up of light matter. And the light matter represents everything that's not dark. So therefore, based on that theory, I could tell you that the Caucasian race didn't come from me. Okay? Because you have different phenotypes. You have different types of Caucasians. Okay? You have Caucasians who came at the same time that we came in tribes. You have what's called white tribes who are different from the white race or the so-called white race. Do the conscious community even talk about that? Because they don't know. They don't know because all they like to do is argue. When we manifested here, okay, the entire world talking about, well, we were here first. No, we weren't. A lot of Caucasians came here the same time we came here. And they came here in their own tribes. They came here on their own. You know how? Because they were manifested from that 4% of the universe that was not dark. So that 4% was there to create everything that's not dark, but light. That's why you have winter seasons. Because if we are heavy melanated people, okay, and we aren't, the natural habitat for us isn't the winter or the cold, then what is the point of creating it? I'm just asking logical questions. Logical questions, family. Because I'm a free thinker. I'm a free thinker. You see what I'm saying? One thing you have to realize about truth seekers is this. Truth seekers always doubt everything at least one time. I don't believe everything people tell me. So my question is this. If this is our universe, right? And we were here first and we created everything, why did we create winter? If winter is not a natural habitat for our people, why did we create all this freezing cold? Why? And we didn't need it. You know why? It's because it was created to make provisions for the people who were not dark but light, so that they could survive in a habitat that was natural to them. Because they know they were coming here. They knew that they had to make provisions for themselves. The same way we, the heavy melanated people, created provisions for ourselves and conditions that were suitable for us. That 4% came here on their own. They manifested here on their own, and a lot of them didn't come from us. However, some of the Caucasians came from us. A certain tribe of the Caucasians, they came from us. Just like how you have different variations of melanated people, you have different variations of Caucasian people. Some of them came here on their own, and some of them did come from the melanated woman and the melanated man. Again, this is just my theory. You may say, Chief Kalinago, where can you find this? Where can you prove it? I don't know. I don't know. All I could say is this. That just came to me because I was seeking for answers, and that whole explanation just came in my mind. Call it, maybe I'm thinking too much. I don't know. But at one point, I was doing some research, okay? And after I did the research, the spirit led me to do some in-search. And then the word ghost came up. And I told myself, you know what? If anything that's happening within us as human beings, it's also in nature. So I wanted to go in nature and look for everything that was ghost. And guess what came up? The ghost plant. You do your own research and go research the ghost plant. The ghost plant has the same characteristics as the ghost people or the pale people or the Caucasian people. It is a Caucasian plant. So that means it was already here in nature. It is a parasite to the plants with chlorophyll, the same way that the Caucasian people are parasites to the melanated people. They came on their own. A lot of them didn't come from us. That means they were already here. When we came here, yes, when we first manifested here in the physical, they came here as well. And that's why 96% of the universe is made up of dark matter, and that 4% is made up of what you call light, or everything that's not dark, because they had to make provisions for themselves. So when you hear these people talking, family, and arguing over their garbage, leave them alone. Don't get caught up in it, because they are preventing you from moving forward. They are preventing you from moving forward. We were in every part of the world from the inception of time. There was no time period when everybody was in one area and we migrated into different parts of the world. No, we all were in our own perspective parts of the world. And yes, we migrated into different parts and intermingled and had children with all these different groups, whether it may be melanated groups and what you call Caucasian groups, because they were in their part of the world. And then due to what you call, people, taking voyages or going across the sea, they realized that, damn, they had all the people here. We didn't know that. So they discovered you. Because my thing is this, right? A lot of the Caucasian people, when they came into Africa, our people had never seen them before. So how could you have children that you never seen? Does that even make sense? So you know what? I'm gonna have some children and they're gonna leave. And all of a sudden they're gonna come back white. And when they come to me, I'm gonna be like, oh shit, damn, who are you? But you're my child? What type of shit is that? Every mother know her child. Every mother know her child. That's just a maternal instinct. Every mother know her child. And if her children left Africa and went into some freezing cold where they couldn't talk, they couldn't, they basically ate shit. They had no education. They were literally animals. Don't you think a mother would know what her children are going through? No. These people were already there by themselves. They had no connection to us. They didn't come from the melanated woman. Not all of them. You have Caucasian tribes, yes, that came from the melanated woman. And that's why you have a different variation of Caucasian people. But the Caucasian people that have no soul whatsoever, they are here just to destroy nature. Those people didn't come from us. If they came from you, that's on you. But they didn't come from me. They came here on their own to serve their own purpose. So let's just get these facts right. The American continent had its own people. Asia had its own people. Africa had its own people. If we're talking about in terms of geographical wise, they had their own people. And there was a point when Africans didn't even know that Americans existed. And there was a point when Africans didn't even know Asia existed. Because they all, through the inception of time, they all came here on their own. Never made any contact, never knew of each other. We were indigenous to our own lands. And stop letting people fool you with this bullshit about everybody's from Africa. Because they're trying to send you to Africa so they could take your damn land. All that is a structure to take you away from what's yours. So family, all I'm just saying is use some common sense, and it's time to wake up. Stop following people and everything they tell you. All right? Because they don't know it for a fact. All they're doing is they go on Google, okay? They see some stuff, they cram it, they memorize it, and they come and tell you how much knowledge they know. I don't have no master teacher. My master teacher is me. My master teacher is the ones who came before me, and the ones who came before me, that means they're gone. I'm going to go within, and I'm going to try to make contact, and then that's the way I want to communicate. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I'm going to stop reading books. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that I'm going to stop looking at certain videos. I'm not saying that. However, I'm not just going to believe everything I read or everything I hear. I'm going to do some in-search as well. So I just wanted to come out and just speak a little bit of common sense, and just so that you could, basically, family, start thinking outside the box. Stop thinking outside the box. Ask yourself, why is that they're trying to put everybody in Africa? When in Africa, they have tribes. Everybody in Africa belongs to a tribe. Let me ask you a question. If you're from Africa, what tribe are you from? What is your culture? When were your ancestors from Africa? And who told you that? So wake up, man. Use your common sense. Think for a little bit. Think. Why would we come here and just put ourselves in one particular part of the world and leave the rest empty so that we could find our way and struggle, kill each other to get into those various parts, when we could just say, you know what, man, listen, man. We're in the spiritual form. We're about to go to earth. Guess what? You know what, fam? Man, listen. You go over here, you go over here, you go over here, you go over here. Eventually, we're going to link up. You know what I'm saying? Come on, we melanated folks. That's how we roll, man. That's how we roll. We're different. That's how we roll. So we were all over the world, including some Caucasians who came here the same time we came. That 4% of the universe that's not dark. That provision was made for them to come here on their own. All right. So I just wanted to drop that knowledge. Let me go into the chat real quick. And I know a couple of people. All right. Audrey says the only problem I have is much talking and the community is not coming together with a solution. That is true. I definitely I agree with you. Who else? All right, peace, Jazzy. What's up? What's up? Deshaun, Kalinago, what's up? I'm talking. Yes, family. You know, sometimes we have to use our common sense. You know, use some common sense about the debate because that is all I see. Yes, that's all I see. Family, it's a distraction. This is a distraction. Those people are agents. Agents were put in place so that they could prevent us from moving forward. Let me just give you another example. Do some research on the Lalakea indigenous people. Lakea or Lalakea, I think, indigenous people in Australia, right? Those people, they stood their grounds and they never told themselves that they were from Africa. They always told themselves that they were indigenous to their lands, and they fought for 37 years, the Lalakea tribe. They fought for 37 years until the government allocated them their land back. Because you know why? They knew they were indigenous to Australia and not Africa. But that is the problem with our people on the American continent. You see, everybody want to go to Africa, put themselves in a different continent when they are actually from the American continent. The American continent is not just the United States. The American continent is also the Caribbean. That is the American continent. This is our land. That's where we were from, and we were from inception. But because you're so busy trying to put yourself in Africa, first of all, Africa doesn't even exist. Because if we have to really get technical, people from the African continent, they don't call themselves Africans. They call themselves Nigerians, Ghanaians, people from Benin, Ethiopians, all those different things. I hardly hear somebody from the African continent say they are from Africa. But yet still, we have our people here in America talking about they're from Africa. Let me ask you, what part of the continent of Africa are you from? What is your tribe? Who is your chief? What is the culture? What is the food? What language do they speak? But yet still you're from Africa. Huh? Now don't get me wrong. We have ancestry from Africa because when they came here, a lot of them came on their own. Even before 1492, a lot of them came on their own and they mingled because when the men traveled, they didn't travel with their wives. So when they came, they met our indigenous women and they intermingled and they had children. That's why the Negro is different from the copper melanated man, because the copper people that's here on the American continent, they intermingled with darker Africans and created different races. The same way that the copper people here, when they came around 1492, and you had the Portuguese, you had the Spaniards, you had the Romans, you had all those different people, the British, the French, when they intermingled with the copper skinned people to create what's called now, they call the native Indians. They are native to the land. They are not indigenous to the land. The indigenous people are we, the copper colored people. Go look at the definition of American in Noah's Dictionary, 1828 Webster Dictionary. The definition of the copper colored man or America. In fact, as a matter of fact, you know what? Let me see if I could pull that up for you because I have the definition somewhere. Somewhere I have the definition if I could just get it. But if I can't find it, family, I want you to go check it out yourself. Look at the definition of American you could just pull it up on Google. 1828 Noah's Webster Dictionary. It will give you the definition of an American. copper melanated indigenous people that were in the Americas before the colonizers came. So this is our land. Okay, we are indigenous to the American continent. Our ancestors are not from Africa. Our ancestors were already here. However, during the different migrations, okay, willingly and unwillingly, we intermingled, and so we have ancestry blood in us. So that's why when you go do your DNA tests and all those different things from all these ancestry sites, they are paid by the system, the same system who have the best interest of putting you in Africa. So of course they're going to tell you, oh, you're from Africa. And everybody's, oh, well, I did my DNA test and guess what? I am African. Listen, man, y'all better wake the hell up. Okay? Wake the hell up. That's all I got to say. All right, so let me just go through some of these comments again. That believe that the human life came from Africa first, full of, exactly. They are no different from the Christians who believe Adam and Eve story. That is true. To believe that everybody came from Africa, you might as well just believe in the Adam and Eve. Anywhere on earth you find water, there is life. Absolutely true. All right. I always have the premonition of me and ancestors being from Sonora, Arizona. Like I said, family, Arizona, we are indigenous to the lands. All right. And that's why a lot of us are attached to the lands, because our ancestors' spirit are here and not in Africa. I'm going to keep it real with you, family. You will go back and look at a few of my videos and you would say, Chief Kalinago, well, 5 months ago, you were not saying that. You're right. I wasn't saying that. As a matter of fact, I was on a quest to do an exodus and go to Ghana, go to Zimbabwe and different parts of Africa. But the ancestors pulled me up and say, no, you are on your land. And you can't run away. You have to stay here and fight for what's yours. And that's what I'm doing. So I'm going to tell you one thing. Yesterday, today, I'm going to say things that I'm going to contradict myself all the time. So know that. Because if I say something yesterday and I come into some knowledge today, I'm going to contradict myself. And I will be the first one to tell you, yes, I contradicted myself yesterday. Because I am evolving. I am not the man I was yesterday, day before yesterday, or last month. So yes, I was talking about the whole Africa thing, but the ancestors pulling me up and saying, listen, no, you got to slow down, brother. You are not from Africa. You are from the American continent. This is your land. And you have to let your people know this. And they have to stay here and fight for their land. Yes, you have African brothers and sisters on that continent, but you are not from there. So you better wake up and realize that. All right. And another thing, family, I know a lot of our people are so proud of the black thing. You're not black. There's nowhere in the world you could go and show me a country called black or a nation called black. Let's get off the black pride thing. And that's another reason why I know the conscious community people, they are agents. Because they know within law, black means dead. They know within law, black doesn't exist. But they are continuously pushing this black thing. I am not black. Okay? I am not black. Anybody who wants to put themselves in a crayon box and you wonder why you are being oppressed, you wonder why you have no rights and you only have privileges, this is why. Because due to paper genocide, the doctrine of discovery, all those different factions that was put in place by the invaders, black, African American, Negro, colored, minority, all those things made you a citizen of their nation. And that means you have no rights. You only have the privileges that they gave you. So I am not black. You could be black if you want to. That's on you. It has nothing to do with pride. All right? It's called foolish pride because black means death within law. And for people who say, well, you know what? Oh, I don't care about the law. Well, how could you not care about the law? They have spiritual laws. So you cannot have it one way and then, or accept things in one realm and talk about, I'm going to dismiss it in one realm. It's either you believe in so as above, so as below, so as within, so as without, or you don't, period. But we have to stop being hypocrites. There are laws, and those laws are put in place to protect us. But the only thing is we are walking around in an identity that's not us. So therefore, those laws don't protect us. So when you're going around calling yourself black, that means you have no protection. And that's just the bottom line. So that's one thing I want y'all to wake up and walk away from. The conscious community is constantly putting y'all in a crayon box, family. Wake up and walk away from that. All right? Oh, yes. Deshaun, listen. Right now, I am working diligently to put factions in place so we could move forward. Because I am about solutions. I am not here to argue with people. I'm not here to debate with people. I'm just here to bring basic common sense and find ways so that we could move forward. And I'm not asking anybody to make me their leader. However, I am asking my brothers and sisters to take my hand and walk with me. Walk beside me. Don't walk behind me. I don't want to be your leader. However, I would like us to walk together because there is a path. There is a path for you to reclaim your birthright. The ancestors put me in a situation for a reason and had to pull me out of that situation. But I had to go in there to see what it was, to feel what it was, and took me out of it. So I am putting that in place so that our people could get back their birthright. Because everything that was done to you was done through the doctrine of discovery. Do some research on that. The paper bowl. And it was forced upon you. It wasn't your choice. It was forced upon your mother, and her mother through the birth certificate and the social security number and the birth certificate and social security numbers. You entered those contracts and you were forced into it. All right? So I'm putting things in place on an international level where they have to respect it because it's written within international law. So I'm putting all that in place. Just give me a moment, all right? Pretty soon, I will launch that. I will launch that, whatever, it is. I'm going to launch it. And all I'm just asking you guys, even before you dive into it, do your own research, do your own diligent research. And again, I'm not here to lead anybody, all right? I'm just here to ask you to take my hand and let's walk together so we could free our people, so we could free our children, so that we don't pass this perpetual cycle of slavery or servitude to our people. And another thing in closing before I go, don't focus on this election thing. Donald Trump won and he was supposed to win. Exactly what happened was supposed to happen. Don't get caught up with your emotions, all right? They have a right to choose and elect and select their own president. The question is, it only applies to you if you are a citizen. I'm going to repeat myself. Their election and their selection only applies to you if you are a citizen. All right? I am not a citizen. I am indigenous to the Americas. It's my land. All right? And their nation have nothing to do with me because their nation came after mine. My nation supersedes theirs. All right? My ancestors were here before them. And that's who I subscribe to. The laws that my ancestors laid down, that's the laws that I uphold. And no other law could precede that. So I'm indigenous to the Americas. So therefore, I am not their citizen. All right? So family, with that being said, I'm about to end this, this video. All right, let me just read that again. I am there right next to you. I appreciate that, family. According to whom black means death. Well, family, within law, all right? And I always tell folks, let's give up the emotions, right? In a perfect world, yes, we must say the universe is dark, melanin is dark, black, whatever you want to call it is fine. But family, we were hijacked through contracts. Okay, I believe that it was something that was done spiritually and it manifested in the physical. All right, the 4% that was not dark in the universe, I believe, found a way or a loophole to hijack us through spiritual contracts, and those contracts manifested in the physical. So we became slaves to a system through contracts. So in their contracts, because they know that dark is powerful, they made dark illegal, or it means death, in their contracts. And I'm talking about within law. Within law. That's what I'm talking about. So through their amendments, you know, in their statutes and codes, because you are deemed or classified yourselves as Black, African American, Negro, colored, native, all those different things, it means that you are attached to a contract. Okay, through your birth certificate, your social, those are contracts and bonds that make you the classification that you were given. It puts you in a 3/5 of a human bracket, meaning that you are dead. You have no rights. You only have privileges within the contracts of their statutes and codes. So that's what I want you guys to realize. Get away from the emotion. Let's not make it emotional about to be the proud Black thing. It has nothing to do with that. It has to do with contract. The entire world is run. In fact, the entire world is within a trust. That's why in their dollar bill, it says, "In God we trust." Everything in the world is within a trust. Also, do some research on what's a trust. The entire world is in a trust. You are in a trust. When you came here as a baby, you came in a trust. That trust was your mother. The mother was the trustee. And you are the beneficiary. Okay? However, because you came within the trust of your mother, the government did what's called a doctrine of discovery. The same way they say they discovered our lands and our people, and they stole that. Due to the doctrine of discovery, the baby, which is you, was taken and put in a trust of the government, opposed to the trust of your mother. But that trust was done through the birth certificate and the social security number. So your mother is no longer your trustee. The government is. They have set up a trust for you. So when I try to explain these things to my people, they get all emotional and bent. "Oh, I'm Black, and oh, you're not proud to be Black." You know what? Keep your Blackness. I am not Black because I'm not stupid. All right? I understand law. I understand law. Within law, Black means death. And that's why they could do what they want with you. And people say, "Oh, well, look at what they're doing to Black people." No, they're doing that to their citizens. They have every right. Now, don't get me wrong by this statement I just made. I'm not saying that it's moral. I am not saying that it's moral, but they have every right to do what they have to do or want to do with their citizens. It's like me going to tell another man, "Hey, let me tell you what to do with your slave." I can't do that. So when you call yourself all those different things and accept the classifications, remember, you accepted it, whether it was willingly or unwillingly. Yes, your mother didn't know, her mother didn't know, but at the same time, ignorance of the law is no excuse. So now you were put in the trust of another, whether you want to call it corporation or another nation. Your mother and your father is your first nation. Your mother and your father is your first tribe. That is your first village. But that village was taken through the doctrine of discovery, and contracts were signed. When your mother signed that birth certificate and she gave you up, she gave up that trust and put you in the trust of another nation. And within their statutes and code, the classifications that they gave you, it means that you were dead. It means that you have no rights. You are only allowed the privileges that they gave you. And that's all I'm just saying, family. I am not here to argue with nobody. I'm just here to give you what the conscious community are not giving you, because they are paid to keep you in confusion. They are paid to keep you in chaos. These people, let me tell you something, family. Our biggest threat are people who look just like us. Believe that. Not everybody that look melanated is your brother or your sister. No, a lot of us came from different bloodlines. And this is about securing your bloodline. A lot of these people came from disagreeable bloodlines. Believe that. All of them, most of them in the conscious community who continuously using that black thing. Let me ask you a question. And if you know that we came from the Anunnakis, if you know that, you know what the sun looked like, if you know what the stars are made up of, if you know everything about what you can't see, but yet still what you could see and what you're experiencing, if you just don't know that calling yourself black means that you are dead, you're trying to tell me you know everything else except that one little fact? And it's not an opinion, it's a fact, because within law, it's a fact. Typical example, go anywhere on the map and show me a country that's called black. Show me any nation that's called black. And this is the position that our people have put themselves in, accepting the classifications. They didn't force it upon you. They provided it, and you said yes. Oh, this is me, I'm black and I'm proud. So, my brothers and sisters, I'm just here to give you the real. I'm not going to argue with these people. I'm just know what I have to do for me to secure my bloodline. And I'm giving you some of the information. You do what you feel you have to do to secure your bloodline. If you want to continue to stay in this conscious community and play the games and the debates and get distracted, you have a surprise coming to you. What's coming next? You will remember my words and my voice. I promise you that. If you want to keep playing this black game. All I'm just saying, you are indigenous to the Americas. All right? Now, how does one go black to indigenous in life using trust, law, and drip as good stuff? Well, family, through on drip. And you see a lot of people talking about, well, you know, the people in the UN, you know what I'm saying? They are the ones pushing the agenda. That's a bunch of bullshit. Let me tell you something. If you are to believe that, right? What you're trying to tell me, you call yourself a God, right? You call yourself a God. This is our universe. Well, that's what you said. And you're trying to tell me you are a God and you have nothing in place to protect your people? You have nothing in place to free your people? What kind of God are you? Huh? Going around talking, oh, we are gods and I'm gods. Well, God, let me ask you a question. What do you have in place to save your people? What do you have in place to protect your people? Why can't you, as a God, use your godly powers and put some people in the UN to protect your people? You know what gods do, man? Gods make moves. Gods make moves to protect their people. If you're really a God. So let's stop with the pride and the ego and all that BS. And we were here first. Okay, so what you were here first? What are you doing now? What is it proving? What is it benefiting you to know that you were here first? And I'm here. Guess what? I got some news for you. You probably may have never heard it before, but guess what? You were not here first. Some of the Caucasians came here the same time you did, based on their own research that everybody keep talking about. Oh, 96% of the universe is dark matter, but you keep ignoring the 4%. That's not dark. That means it was there from inception. So you're not the first. So get up the high horse. Let's focus on now. What are we doing? What are we doing now to elevate our people? What are we doing now except debating? Huh? That's what I want to know. We will walk together, family. Indeed, indeed. Indigenous all the way. Indeed. You see, because what people don't realize is this. Our ancestors put all the laws in place. The Constitution that's here right now, it was hijacked by the original Constitution that our fathers and mothers put in place. And those constitutions and those laws are still in place to protect the indigenous people, family. It is still there to protect the indigenous people. However, it was ratified and a shadow Constitution was created and forced upon people that was misplaced and displaced and classified as African American, Negro, colored, minority, native, and colored. You see the trick? So it was given to our mothers and fathers, some of them by force and some of them by will. However, you didn't sign any contracts because it wasn't your fault. So you have a right to dismiss, denounce, and revoke those contracts. And guess what? It's your legal right. It's your natural creator given right. But all people don't know that. So don't focus on the elections. The elections is only for you if you are a citizen of their nation. Donald Trump is not my president because I am not a citizen of their nation. You see how simple that is? And some people say, well, you know what? How come, well, the law doesn't work? Because if you say, no, it does work. But it only works for the people who are not citizens. It worked for the citizens of the corporation, for those it was created for. Certain laws work for them. But when you are not a citizen of their corporation, those laws don't apply to you. Now you learn to deal with those people in what's called commerce. I won't get into that. That's a whole nother ball game and another topic. Everything is about commerce. Everything is about trust. The entire world is in a trust. And I'm going to reiterate, just like when you came here, you were in the trust of your mother. When you came from that realm, you came into the trust of your mother and your father. They were the trustee. That womb was the trust. And as soon as you came out of that trust, you were hijacked by the birth certificate and the social and put in the trust of another nation. It's as simple as that, family. So if y'all want to continue to get misled by these conscious people, that's on you. I am here with a different perspective. All right. And like I said, I am working on something really substantial, solid, okay, where our people could do just that. And I'm not asking to be a leader. All I'm just saying is, family, when it's time and the information is put forward, even before you do anything, do your own research. Okay. And when you see how solid it is, just say, Chief, my brother, I am ready to walk with you. Don't lead me. I want to walk with you. All right. So again, I like to bring things from a different perspective. Who established this law? There has no standing with the universe. Well, family, again, there are universal laws. All right. It is what it is. But you have, what's called, whether you want to call it the so-called elites, because they're not my elite. All right. They're not my elites. All right. People only have power when you give them power over you. They have no power over me. All right. So these people use their own power. Okay. And a lot of it was done through force to really put those laws in place. All right. But again, you are a free individual and you have the right, the natural creator given right, to be governed by your own individual being. Okay? So just know that. Just know that you have the right to self-governance, because when you came here, you came by yourself. Yes, in the trust of the womb, but you still came here by yourself. All right? The moment that you exited that womb, that trust, which is the womb, then you have the right, or always have the right to self-govern. But that was taken away from you. So it's your duty and your obligation to get back that right. And legally you could do so. So in the meantime, I want you guys to research the doctrine of discovery. Do some research on that. Also do some research on DRIP, UNDRIP. Okay. And family, there are people in place fighting on behalf of indigenous people. Believe that, because if that wasn't so, guess what? People in Australia wouldn't have gotten back their land. If that wasn't so, there wouldn't be a movement right now where they are fighting the Vatican, all right, to demolish what's called the doctrine of discovery. All right, so there are people fighting on the behalf of the indigenous people. Shit, I am one of them. Okay, so that's all I'm just saying. If you consider yourself a God and you can't put people in place to work on your behalf, then what kind of God are you? All right, so stop with the egotistical, I'm a God and we are gods and that. What are you doing if you're a God? What are you doing? All right, so I'm just here to bring the real, man. I ain't got time for all the games. All right, so with that being said, family, peace and love. Just want, I'm not even going to take a time to, shout out everybody individually, but everybody who's tuned in, I just want to say peace and love, continue to rise. I'm going to bring that information soon. And family, once again, please, I'm going to have the GoFundMe in the link. Please support the GoFundMe. Again, it allows me to do what I do, taking the time to do the videos, do the research, and bring that to you. But pretty soon, like I said, I'm really excited about it. I'm going to put something in place that will give you the legal right on solid, I'm talking about solid foundation, okay, that will give you, all right, the information and give you the guidelines to achieve all what I was talking about in the videos, all right? So with that being said, peace and love. Have a blissful day, all right, family? And just know that you have a brother out here fighting on behalf of our people, all right? You are indigenous to the Americas, believe that. Yes, we have brothers and sisters on the African continent, but we are not from Africa. A lot of us aren't from Africa, all right? So just know that life was on every part of this globe from inception, okay? And you were not the first. There were a lot of Caucasians who came here the same time we came here, all right? They were here too. So this is basically everybody's world. The only thing is, back in antiquity, there was respect. Different tribes respected tribes and the territories. That's what it was. Because there are also what's called white tribes with clan mothers. They are totally different from the white race. So y'all have to know the difference. So stop judging people by the complexion or the hue of their skin. Because a lot of this clan, this what you call this white, I'm not going to use white because nobody's really white, but a lot of these pale skinned people, they did come from the melanated woman and the melanated man. However, there's another phenotype, another race that didn't come. They didn't come from the melanated man and the melanated woman. They were here from the inception. They are that 4% that came here the same time we came here, from the beginning and manifestation of our physical self. All right? So the conscious community could talk all what they want. Unless they could prove all what they're talking to me, with substantial evidence, and not go by what a man wrote and another man wrote and another man wrote, I ain't got time to be wasting with these people. I don't have the time. I have better things to do. I'm moving forward. All right? I'm moving forward. Because guess what? Like I told you before, I've already done what I had to do. So I'm putting everything in place so that my people could get the information and they could walk with me. A lot of great things are happening. But if you get stuck in that I'm black thing, then whatever happened to you, that's on you. You can't say you didn't know. People perish for the lack of knowledge. And give up that pride. Give up that pride, family. Take yourself out of that crayon box. I'm begging you. Please, stop calling yourself that. Black doesn't exist in law. Okay, there's no such thing as a black person. There's no such thing as a black country or a black nation. And you cannot be African American. You cannot be two continents in one. You are American. That's who you are. And some people will say, well, you know what? Well, yes, they gave the name America. Okay, well, they also gave the name Africa. So how could you be African and not be American? So family, stop allowing these people to confuse you and mislead you. This conscious community, a lot of them, with all their I don't even know what to call them. They are agents. And I'm telling you, the truth will come to light. The truth will come to light. Believe that. All right? I'm out, family. Peace and love. I love you guys. Please support the GoFundMe. All right? I'm going to put it in the link. 1.